Hi, Martin here, and today I'm going to show you 5 amazing AI tools. So let's get started. So firstly, we have the most popular, the most obvious option, which is ChatGPT. So firstly, what is ChatGPT? Well, in simple terms, it's an AI chatbot. So essentially you can ask it questions and it will answer and respond. And then you can go ahead and ask follow-up queries as well. How do you go about accessing ChatGPT? Well, simply head to chat.openai.com and create yourself a free account. Once you create that free account, you'll be greeted with this interface here. So a very simple interface. You have a few examples here of what you could ask ChatGPT. Some of the capabilities and some of the limitations are outlined as well. Other than that, the only part you need to worry about is at the bottom where it says send a message. So this is where you can type your question. Okay, so I can say plan a 4-day trip to Rome. I'm gonna then hit this green icon here. And what that will do is plan a 4-day trip to Rome for me. Now, the great thing about ChatGPT and chatbots in general is that you can go ahead and ask follow-up questions. So if I've got my 4-day plan here, I could then go, could you please create a new plan for day 2? And it will go ahead and then give me an alternate to that second day of my trip. So what are the pros of ChatGPT? Well, there is a free version. It is, as you can see, very simple to use. Essentially a text box and you ask your questions and the responses that you get are very, very quick. What are some of the cons? There is a newer, more up-to-date version where you can get newer information, but that is behind a paywall. As with any chatbot, the information is not always 100% accurate, and it can sometimes take a little bit of training with the types of questions that you're asking to get to the answers that you are looking for. So, what do we have next? So I've switched over to Microsoft Edge to talk a little bit about Bing Image Creator. So Bing Image Creator is an AI tool that creates images based on your text. So how do you access? We need to head to bing.com/create and then click that join and create button. So once you've done that, you'll see here, okay, you will need to be logged in with a Microsoft account. Once you are, you'll see this text box here at the minute, and this is where you can type in whatever you want to create a picture of, okay? So I can say create a painting of the Sydney skyline, okay? Now, the one thing that you will find with image creators as opposed to chatbots like ChatGPT is that they obviously can take a little bit longer because it's going ahead and creating images. Now, I say longer, and compared to the instant chatbot response, it is. However, it's still pretty quick, much quicker than creating a painting yourself. So this can create paintings, it can create realistic photographs, it can create different types of paintings, so if you want impressionist, etc. So what's some of the great things about it? It is free to use. Again, it's a very simple interface. Some of the cons, so at the moment you can't import images, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. And you also have to pay. So I talked a little bit about the time, and you'll see this icon here. So this is where you can pay to get your results quicker. So I feel like that's probably one of the cons of the system. Okay, so that's 2 amazing AI tools. What is the third? Well, the third is actually Bing Chat. So Bing Chat is Microsoft's answer to ChatGPT and actually uses the same program as OpenAI's ChatGPT. But essentially, because it's the same thing, You ask questions, you get responses, and you can ask follow-ups. So in order to access this, you will need the Microsoft Edge browser, which I am in now. I'm actually in it on Mac, so it is available on Windows and Mac. You'll also need a Microsoft account, so that could be an Outlook or a Hotmail account. So once you've opened up Edge and you've headed to Bing, you'll end up on this search by default. So you need to switch over to chat, and then essentially you can see that this interface is not a million miles away from what the ChatGPT interface looked like. Okay, so we essentially have our box down here. One thing that we do have is choosing a conversation style. So by default, it's on balance. So it says clear your conversation to start informative and friendly chat, clear your conversation to start an original and imaginative chat, and then clear your conversation to start a concise and straightforward chat. Okay, so it's that balance between kind of the precision and the creative. So most of the time you want to keep it balanced, but have a play around with the creative and precise and see if that gives you more of the types of answers that you might be looking for. So how do we use it? Same as ChatGPT, we essentially type in our question at the bottom. So again, I can go plan a 3-day trip to Paris this time. So essentially one thing that I've found with Bing is that it does take a little longer than what ChatGPT does. However, the responses that you get can be very, very similar. So you can see now it's generating my 3-day trip. Now, a couple of things to note here. So one is it will actually give you web addresses. So the fact that Bing is a web search engine, it'll give you web addresses where you can kind of follow up on some of this information. One of the other cool things it does is it actually gives you suggestions for follow-up questions. Okay, so I can go, well, what's the best time to visit Paris? I can just click on that suggested follow-up question, and then it will give me my response. So what are some of the pros of Bing Chat? It is free. It has those follow-up suggestions, which I actually think are really useful, and the search engine built in with those website suggestions. Some of the cons, like I said, it's a little slower. It also has limited prompts. So you'll see here it says 1 out of 20, 2 out of 20. So you can only do 20 per conversation. And you also have to have the Microsoft Edge browser. Number 4, I'm going to switch over to a program called DALL-E, and more specifically DALL-E 2. So if we look, we've just looked at Bing Image Creator and Bing Chat, and they kind of go hand in hand. Well, the same is true of ChatGPT and DALL-E. So OpenAI, who created ChatGPT, have also created this DALL-E image generator. So how do you go ahead and access it? We need to head to labs.openai.com, create an account, or if you've already got an account with ChatGPT, you can use the same details on there. But essentially, it works in exactly the same way as Bing Image Chat did. However, so you can go ahead and you can type here. So I can say create a painting of the New York skyline. However, if I go and try and click generate, it's going to say that I'm out of credit. So there is no free option for DALL-E. I'm just going to scroll through a couple of images here that will show you the types of results that you can get when you put your query in. So it works very, very similarly to Bing. So one cool thing that it does have is you can upload an image to edit. So you could upload an image and say, can you edit this to look more like a painting or a photograph, or take this element out? So the pros is really that upload image feature. So if that's something that you feel like you need, it may be worth the money. You can use the same account as ChatGPT. Cons, however, is that you have to buy credits to be able to use the software. So it really is, if it's something that you know you're going to use and you're going to get a lot of use out of, it's great. Otherwise, if you're unsure, I'd suggest maybe using something like Bing Image Creator. And then if you feel like you need more functionality, then it might be worth paying for some credits for DALL-E. Okay. Okay, and last but not least is number 5, and that is Google Bard. So Bard is Google's experimental conversational AI chat service. So essentially Google's version of Bing Chat or ChatGPT. They call it experimental because it's kind of in their very early phases. So it's easy to access. Head to bard.google.com, log in with a Google account, and then from there you can see interface very similar to ChatGPT and Bing Chat. So you can enter your prompts here in the window at the bottom. So let's go for plan a 2-day trip to London. So you will see when the results pop up that the way the results pop up is actually a little different to what happens with ChatGPT and Bing AI. Now, because it's that little bit different, it can take that little bit longer. But you can see that we have images based on web addresses. So the kind of clear difference is that it pulls information from the web. So obviously Google being the biggest web search engine, it's pulling that information from the web and presenting that all to you in this conversational format. So the fact that it's got these kind of images embedded in it, so it's not just saying go and visit this, it's saying go and visit this, this is what it's going to look like, which, you know, is quite a cool feature and something that differentiates it from other chat bots. So pros, pulls from the web, image results. Cons, can be slower than other chatbots, and it is still in beta. So there you have it. That's 5 AI tools that you can go and try right now. I hope you found this video useful. If you have, please like the video, comment, and subscribe for more. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.